Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find a link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. If you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying, courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching this on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or your comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can make the comments or questions during the live streams. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, Saturday at John's, contest coverage, flying at the field that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe and share the videos. Comments also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I am a member myself. I have the $4.99 come out of my checking account each and every month. I don't miss it. I suspect you won't miss it either. Now, if you don't want a monthly subscription, then use the super chat, which is located over here at the bottom below the chat box. And it's a big dollar sign at the bottom. Click on that and donate whatever amount you'd like. And please support us. And when you join our YouTube membership, you get special stickers that Spark and I can see when you're in the chat box, and have access to unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm just in here twice a week, Monday and Friday evenings. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters there, even if they're repeated. And place your comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his video camera of me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL, and it was orange then. Now it's been refinished and it's white with an orange trim. But if you comment or have a question on that video, I'll be notified right away, because that is my channel. And over here at Stunthangar, this is not my channel, so I don't get notifications. So comment or questions, please, are welcome, and I'll be able to get back to you quickly. Now, I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things that you wouldn't do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link now at Stunthangar Forum. So let's see here. Let me go to Stunthangar forum, and I got the link already locked and loaded. And let me post it. Post it now. So you should be able to come on in. That's how you come into this space. If you're curious how to get in here, you have to go through the Stunthangar forum, and then if you're not a member, register. And then once you get registered, you'll be able to see the at the bench link. And I have a link inside there with today's date. That's how you get in here. And let me go to Stunthangar, the YouTube channel, and let's see what's going on there. I go to what I call the control panel. That's how I keep up with what's going on. Looks like my internet's a little bit slow. I have 3 teenagers out of school. So let's see how this works. Hopefully it'll be a good night. Well, it looks like we are streaming, and I have 12 concurrent viewers. Fantastic. Absolutely awesome, epic. And we have 6 likes, so half of you haven't hit the like yet. So please smash, touch, push, kick that like button. That helps the analytics of the show. I try to get 100% of everyone who watches the show like it. Now, that might be kind of unrealistic, but during the live stream, we're able to do that. Now, the replays, they really do fall off. So if you're watching this as a replay, please, before you click off, hit the like button. It won't cost you a penny. And let's see. Jack Snavely is here. He says, "Hi, Charles. Hello, all air fans." And he has the globe, and he has some airplane stickers. Thank you so much, Jack Snavely. I appreciate you coming in to the chat box. And then Tom Bramble says, "Like provided." And then appreciate that, Tom Bramble. If you come on in, whenever you do a like and you come in, you are VIP. So consider doing that. Let me edit the details of this thing real quick. Let's see here. That's done, and save that. Okay. All right. So we're all set up. Now I went flying today, went out with my electric SB11, and mostly focused on doing reverse wingovers. The plane is flying good enough that it just seems like it needs such small little adjustments now. Maybe until I do the pattern, then I'll realize some other things. Looks like Keith Trossel's coming in, excellent, and so is Gary Sinclair. That is fantastic. By the way, Tom, am I coming across okay? Is my sound all right? Hey, Keith, thank you for coming in, Keith. Hey, and Gary, thank you for coming in, Gary. So how you guys doing today?
Pretty good, I guess.
Good.
Hey, Charles.
Yes.
I got your 2 messages late this afternoon.
Oh, good. Well, I didn't get your message till late this afternoon, so I apologize. I didn't get. I didn't even post the reminder that tonight is the Stunthangar Video Hangouts. I didn't post that till about 5 o'clock. Normally, I post it first thing in the morning. Been a hectic day, very busy.
But I'll send you a bunch of pictures.
Oh, I love pictures. I love that. I really love that plane. I can't wait to see some more detailed images of the cockpit.
Hey, couple meetings ago, we're talking about a strange flying wing thing. I think it's called the Flying Flapjack. And it sort of thing had articulated elevators on it. So sort of a half saucer sort of thing.
Really? Never.
Yeah.
This is a control line plane?
Yeah, it was published way long time ago, like in the 50s, early 50s, in Air Trails. And the guy built one, brought it to VSC. Al Heiger brought it to VSC.
Okay, I know Al.
Yeah, he was he ran with Mary Gephardt. They were together. But anyway, for anybody that was listening to it then, that was the airplane, and Al Heiger's the one that had it at BSC.
Yeah, Al Heiger came in here about a year ago.
there was a picture of it that showed up on somebody's I don't know, forum or somebody's gallery, and I saw it somewhere off of the Stunthangar. I don't know who had it. I didn't write it down what it was. Just an interesting airplane, but didn't fly very well at all. It just kind of flopped around.
Hey, Caffeine, thanks for coming in. How you doing?
Hello, all. I'm doing good.
Great, great. So how's your new plane coming along?
Not yet. I'm still building my Cardinal. Yeah, I'm still busy with work, so the progress is very slow. And I'm expecting my Vector R to come this week, someday this week.
Very cool. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I just got a new engine also.
Which engine is that?
It's Enya 35X.
Oh, Enya 55X.
35.
35X.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm still waiting for another needle valve adjustment. So it's an RC engine, but I have to convert first.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
I have so little experience with Enyas. I mean, I think I actually have two Enya 40 SS's. One is still brand new in the box. And the other one is, I did use it on I think it's the big flat streak, the 676, the big, and it seemed to be about as powerful as my LA 46. I couldn't tell any difference between the two motors, so it should be a good motor.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's a bit heavy. The SS40, it's much heavier than the LA46.
Yeah, but you know, the plane I flew it on, I did notice the difference. The plane seemed to fly the same.
What plane is that?
It was a blown up flight streak. I think they call it the flight streak 767. I think it's called. Yeah, I gave it to a friend of mine, and don't have the plane anymore. But I was curious how well the motor was, and I just swapped it out from the LA 46, and it seemed to run well and fly just the same. So
yeah, good for you.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, thanks for coming in, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, Charles, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. I went flying today. I actually took out my electric SV11, and I mostly was working on reverse wingovers.
Good deal. How's it going?
Plane flies really good. I mean, I'm actually working on me. It's been a long time since I've had a chance to work on me. I've been working on these airframes, you know, my red Strega, my white Strega, all these planes I had needed so much work with props and trim. And I finally, you know, the SV11, I had to trim that out as well. But I think I'm pretty much, all the big things are not an issue anymore. Hey, Mike Locke is in the house.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Mikey.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Are your electrics out?
No, I didn't get the screen door down on my shop in time, so it was full of bugs. So I brought the bug zapper in from the backyard, and I'm just going to run it for a few minutes to clear all the gnats and mosquitoes out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I got just a one bay garage door on my shop, but I have a roll down screen, you know, that you can put down so you can still get the air.
Yeah.
And keep the bugs out. Well, I left my garage door open too late past dusk, and it filled up with all the shop lights. It fills up with bugs. So I'm clearing them out. That's all.
Okay.
I understand. That's a neat. I wouldn't mind getting that zapper myself in my garage during the later months in the summer.
Well, if I remember to put the screen door down, my shop doesn't get full of bugs. You know, it does a really good job. And I'll tell you, the screen door was one of the best investments I ever made for the garage door. You know, it was about $400 from Home Depot. And it's just it's in a cassette over the door, and it just rolls down and it seals off the hole. It's not one of them ones with magnets that you walk through or anything. It rolls right down on tracks and goes all the way to the floor. It works really good, which is nice in the summertime because I don't have air in the shop out here. So
Yeah, neither do I. And
Bunch of fans. I got a ceiling fan and a couple of floor fans, and then keeping the door open seems to help keep it somewhat cool when I'm in here working on planes.
I have a message from Tom Ramley. It says, the sound is perfect. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Then he goes on to say that the control line plane that was converted from a combat airplane into a trainer for the grandkids traveled 3,800 miles, Minnesota to Florida to Colorado and back to Minnesota. Wow. Hopefully you got lots of flights with that, with your grandkids. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm curious how that worked out for him.
And maybe he might comment more on that.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
is that garage door screen gas or electric?
Dude, come on, man.
I know you're a gas guy, so you know, I don't know.
It's nitro. I got a PA 75 on it, man. I fire it up. I got a gearbox on it that, you know, it's PA 75 on a pipe, man.
I'm just busting you. I'll see you Sunday, I guess. Right?
Saturday, buddy. I'm gonna be there Saturday.
I'll get there about noon Saturday. We're talking about the Brodak Fly-In, which
Right.
is a week-long event, and Will Davis and I co-CD it, and Mike's been one of the rocks there from the past many years, and it's a great event.
It is. That's all I've been doing is getting ready for it. I mean, we've been flying pretty much every day or every other day for the last 10 days, testing and tuning all our stuff. We flew 6 speed limits yesterday, getting ready for the combat event. And I was pretty happy because 5 of them were awesome. Only 1 was bent a little bit, so I twisted on it this morning, and it should be good. And as of now, all of our planes have been flown and trimmed. So now it's just maybe try to practice a little more before we leave, and then be ready, not have to work on a bunch of stuff while we're there, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
So
Hey,
I'm making up
Charles?
plans tonight.
Yes,
Charles,
Mark.
I just wanted to put in a little plug for something very special is going to be happening at this Brodak.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's going to be Sunday at 3:30, which is really before the event begins, but most people are there by then. We're dedicating, not we, but the Brodak family is dedicating the museum at 3:30 on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
And I've been fortunate enough to have a walkthrough, and it is just very, very special. It's spectacular. And
Wow.
I think it'll be a really nice thing. And, you know, it's great. It's within walking distance of the field, within walking distance of the hobby shop. It's just a great environment for a contest and for just camaraderie. So just wanted to put a plug in.
Yeah, I hope that that Sparky has enough bandwidth to maybe do a live walkthrough with his camera. I know he does. Yeah. When I was there in 2016, I shot lots of video and copied it all to his camera, and he posted it. So, but I hope to see some live footage from Sparky, and to help that, if everyone would consider out there listening, maybe do a super chat or join. That'll help Sparky. He pays for the bandwidth up front, even though the donations come in later on. It's still he has to come out of his pocket up front to pay for it. So please consider super chatting this week and throughout next week with Brodak's going. Is the live stream? I'm not able to go there, but I would love to see it again.
Well, we appreciate it. We'll have a good time, and we'll think about you guys.
Hey, Mark.
You won't be thinking about it. You'll be having too much fun.
I'm not thinking about him.
Yeah, you won't be thinking, because when I was there at Brodak's, I thought about my family once in a while, but I was just having a blast.
Well, that's the whole idea.
Mark, I've got a question, and please don't take this wrong. I was back there in the early 2000s when, I don't know, he had either started on the building or had the layout where the building is going to be. Texts and books for him to put in the library there. But my question, is what are the plans to maintain and to keep this building going into in the future?
Well, that's a good question. You know, Keith, it's very close to the Brodak manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
And the people that have been the key people in this for a while now are the people that are taking care of it. So I think that I'm not worried about the future of the museum. The hobby shop's doing very well. They did close down the printing company, but the hobby shop is doing really well, mostly mail order. I think the challenge is going to be to get people to go to Carmichael's to see it, rather than just do it once a year. But it's going to be maintained. It's beautifully done. I imagine Sparky will do a video. It's really nicely done. It's very interesting. There probably, without exaggeration, there have to be 400 kits on display. I mean, classic stuff from manufacturers that, you know, will bring you back until you were 10 and 15 years old. So they've made the investment. It's magnificent, and they're kicking it off Sunday. And I think it's going to be in good shape. I mean, one of the things that I've thought about, Keith, in my role as Pampa, is to encourage people to maybe hop in a van together, keep the cost of gas down, you know, and go up there for a day, and visit and bring your camera. And I think it'll bring you back a lot of years of great joy. So we talked about that. I'm not very concerned about it. I think the plans are very good. And Keith, I believe also they're going to be moving the area that had the names of those who've passed in the prior years between all the Brodak events. I think they're going to move those stones out front of the museum as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know, is there going to be a library section to this?
There is. There already is.
Well,
And they have, Keith, they have tremendous, I don't remember the names, but the people who have donated to this, besides, of course, John, it's a pretty exhaustive list. And there are magazines and reference manuals going back to the beginning of model aviation.
Isn't there a separate room for the library? It's like cordoned off. It's its own room, the library, with racks of books, right?
It's a very comfortable room. If I remember right, I think it even has glass doors.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Keith, that's a great point. You can walk and talk and go through and ooh and ah at all kinds of different things, but you can also sit down and relax and find just about anything.
Well, that library thing, when I was back there, it was in the early 2000s, a contest. I took back maybe a dozen extra copies of Aeromodeler Annual I had. I've got all the Aeromodeler Annuals, like from 49 to 78, whatever it is.
Yep.
And I know the AMA has all of those, and I've already given a bunch of stuff to the AMA, but I've got a library that fills up a lot of shelves, books, mostly on full-scale aviation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the AMA library's already got a lot of that stuff. But the other thing I've got maybe 3 4-foot shelves filled up with binders of material that I've copied from all the magazines. And I've got categorized in different topics and subjects about materials and construction and all of that. And then I have everything I could find, the construction articles of everything that's been published since the late 50s. And,
that's fantastic.
It's categorized into semi-scale, old-time, and regular stunt. And that fills up at least 6, and binders fills up at least 6 foot of shelf space.
That's wonderful. You know, now that you're talking about this, it makes me think that, you know, AMA has done a great job with the museum. Of course, that's in Indiana. So now we have one that's 50 miles south of Pittsburgh. And I guess the biggest piece we're missing is something in the West. It sounds like you have enough maybe to start your own.
No.
But it's a great walk through memories and And fortunately for us at this age, a lot of the stuff we can recall, which is really nice. So I'm looking forward to it. Keith. I'll pay particular attention to that room, and maybe after the week I can be back on here and tell you what I saw and maybe what's not there.
Well, the other thing is, and I know there've been attempts to have a Pampa archive of some kind, and I don't know where that stands now, but some of this material, the family won't know what to do with it, and it deserves something more than to be put into the trash can.
Yeah.
Because some of this place stuff, I don't think you could ever replace it.
Right.
So, and the amount of time it went in to put this together, it's been something in progress since the 70s. So, but then I've got all these aviation books, full-size aviation books, and AMA's taken a bunch of stuff I've already had. I have some other publications they were interested in. I've sent boxes and boxes of magazines to the AMA. They said they'd take.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I don't know if people realize you can send that stuff to AMA, and you have to sign a release. It's theirs. You no longer have a claim on it.
Right.
But you can take tax deductions for it. So you can go buy and
okay.
These magazines, I have years and years of subscription. Some of these plastic modeling magazines, and those things are worth $5-10 a piece.
Oh, sure.
I've had boxes and boxes of those. So that made a nice tax write-off.
So it's kind of like charitable giving, and it's deductible.
Yeah. Just like I donated that Martin Baker. It's sitting there in the museum, and I got a nice sizable write-off on that one. I had a professional evaluator put a price tag on it, and again, that made a nice tax deduction.
Can you explain the Martin Baker? That word piqued my interest. What is that?
The Martin Baker MB-5, one-of-a-kind airplane built by the British at the end of World War II. And it was it could have been one of the best propeller-driven airplanes, right up there with the Spiteful and the Sea Hornet, and those kinds of airplanes. But
was he the designer of the airplane?
Well, James Martin was one of the partners in Martin Baker that makes the ejection seats. And
yeah,
he built several airplanes, one in the 20s, and then one in the late 30s, and it was in competition, same specification that the Spitfire was designed to. That was the MB-2, and of course Spitfire won that. MB-2 was kind of an ungainly looking airplane, but it performed quite well, supposedly. And then he built the MB-3 with a Napier Sabre engine in it, and it crashed, but they took the wings from that and built the MB-5, entirely different looking airplane except for the wing, and it had the Rolls-Royce. Anyway, I'm thinking of the name. It wasn't. Is the engine after the Merlin? The late powered Spitfires, Griffin had the Rolls-Royce Griffin engine and counter rotating props. Just a super great looking airplane. I showed it last week or last Friday, Monday.
Yeah, last Friday.
Well, the reason the name Martin Baker piqued my interest in skydiving, even in the 90s, we were using a style of handle for our reserves that was called a Martin Baker handle.
Well, that came from their ejection seats.
From their ejection seat, yeah. We still used what was called a Martin Baker handle on our reserve parachutes, but I didn't know the history of Martin Baker or who it was or where it had come from. So
during the war, they built components like noses and nose assemblies with all the guns and so forth for a lot of the British airplanes. And then on the side, he built these two airplanes, the MB-3 and the MB-5. He had a design for a jet-powered Delta. It's called the MB-6. I've only seen sketches of that, but it was ahead of its time. But of course,
well, if he was building ejection sheets, I'm sure he had something to do with parachutes and parachute rigs too of the time.
Well,
you know?
And his seats were used by a lot of air forces around the world, including the United States, both the Air Force and Navy used his seats. And they have a running total of lives they've saved with his Martin Baker seats over the course of time. The number's probably close to 8,000 to 10,000 pilots have been saved using those seats.
Wow, interesting. So what, you donated a Martin Baker airplane? Is it a scale airplane or a control line?
Yeah, it was control line scale, 1/10 full size. And it it didn't have retracting gear. But it had flaps and shock absorbing gear. In fact, Dennis's dad helped machine some of the parts for that landing gear. Do you remember that, Dennis? Dennis? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
For the bugs.
Anyway, the landing gear was fully shock absorbing, but wasn't retracting, working flaps, elevator or rudder worked, and the ailerons worked with controls from the cockpit. And when it flew, was set up so that the rudder would go to right rudder on low throttle, and the ailerons would go to right roll on low throttle, and would go back to neutral on full throttle.
Interesting. And that's on display right now? When did it go on display?
Oh, gee, 10 years, 12 years.
10 years. Okay, so then I've seen the airplane. I just don't recall it from all the scale stuff in there.
Yeah, you can take that virtual tour through the AMA Museum, and you'll see it there in the cage. It has a whole bunch of other scale airplanes.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Hey, Carl, thanks for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. How you doing?
Doing well.
I think I'm bug free. I'm going to turn my lights on.
All right. Hey, Dennis, how you doing, Dennis? Thanks for coming in, Dennis.
Hey, good to be here. I just
Hey,
wanted
Dennis.
I don't know if you marked the occasion, Charles, but sad to say the month of Charles is past, and we now have the
that's
month of
right.
Mike and Sam. So
Let me find that. Yeah, let me find that image of I have it on my desktop. 1 second. Let me find that real quick.
what, you got Mike on your desktop? Man, you are a real glutton for punishment, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I have the calendar on my desktop.
Okay.
Let me bring it up and I'll share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Let me get it up here. Oh, no, it's actually it's Sam and it's Sam and
Oh, wait a minute.
Steve
This the Sam and this is Sam. Okay. The
Yeah.
other Sam.
Yeah, so let me share this real quick. Let me get back
Steve and
to
Sam. Sorry, Mike.
That's okay.
next
Yeah,
to
I think
the-
we've already passed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I think they did already pass. So I'm
Yeah.
going to share this screen here so everybody can see Samantha and Steve Hines. Share. Is it coming up?
Yep, we got it.
Yep.
All right. So
Yeah, the only trouble now, Steve is now a scale model of himself. So since he got healthy the last year or so, he's eating healthy and stuff like that. It's hard. It's almost looking too skinny, isn't he, Mike? So
Yeah, he looked pretty good when I saw him a couple weeks ago.
yeah, he's been working out.
very good. So I'll take that down. Detroit Combat Team. All right.
Indeed. Mike, I'm still holding out for one of those shirts next time you guys make an order. So
Yeah, I think we talked. I've run out of your size. I only got a couple of smalls left. And man, I ended up, I think we made 60 of these.
Really?
I made 15 to start for like the real Detroit guys. And then everybody started asking for them. And we ended up going back and doing another 45.
Wow.
Yeah, I've always wanted a Philly Flyers t-shirt.
Uh-oh.
That's a Beavers t-shirt. I want a Toronto t-shirt.
That's it. That too. You're right.
Hey, for whoever's asking about the Martin Baker, this is the scale version of that.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen
let
that
me get
airplane.
big here. Place spotlight.
Now I
Wow.
remember. Now I remember the airplane.
Yeah.
The yellow bottom. This
Wow,
color,
that is nice.
the gray is darker than that, and the green is. Anyway, this doesn't show up very well on the camera.
How many blades do you have on the propeller?
There's two 3-bladed counter-rotating
Okay.
props. On the scale airplane I had for display, you could manually turn one over and the other would go the opposite direction.
How'd you do that?
I made a little gearbox that set on the motor mount right behind the propeller.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Keith, would you have gotten any static for having static points for having a setup like that? Did they give you any credit for that, or?
I don't know. I doubt it. But the way the rules are, well, you know, for the rotating part, probably there's no extra credit for that. But for static display, you had to have scale propeller. In
Right.
this case, scale propellers.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then the way the rules were written, and I kind of helped make them read the rules this way, that for scale, you had to have the same shaped spinner, the same color, but you didn't have to have the same number of cutouts in the propeller blade. So that allowed somebody displaying a counter-rotating prop and flying with a regular 2-blade prop.
Yeah.
Because they first wrote that rule that wouldn't have allowed that to happen. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, in this day and age with 3D printing everything and everything like that, you can print it, get a basic shape, and you can just stack up props or not. And boy, you could do a nice job with that now. But,
Well, I had a friend machine me a aluminum spinner for that because I couldn't
Yeah.
find anything the right shape and size at that time. And for display, it's wooden laminated plywood that I turned down on a lathe for the separate parts, but I still had machined back plates
Yeah.
for the two pieces of spinner, and then made up the gearbox, sort of a kludged up affair of some gears I found out of a gun site, but that's another story.
What tools do you have in your shop, Keith? What kind of machinery do you have?
Very simple. I've got a floor-mounted drill press, Craftsman drill press, and I've got a scroll saw and a vise and a sander. And that's about it. I do have a Unimat lathe or one like it. It's been sitting in the drawer ever since it was given to me a long time ago. I've tried to turn one piece and that was a failure and haven't really taken the time to learn how to really use that thing. But I just got basic stuff.
Okay. Wow, amazing. This goes to show you don't have to have the all end all that turn out good looking models like you have. It's amazing.
That sander is one, and the scroll saw is probably one of the scroll saw, particularly when you start cutting out plywood pieces and the maple motor mounts, the heavy maple stuff for the motor mounts and so forth, because I don't use standard size motor mounts. They all fit contours for the nose and whatever. That's another story too.
I've seen Mike's shop. What kind of tools do you have in your shop, Dennis?
Pretty much the same thing, a bench mounted or bench top drill press, a scroll saw, a disc sander, Dremel tools, knives all over the place, and whatever else. I have a 4-foot square table that catches everything. I got building boards, a couple of different building boards that I use for actually building wings or fuselages and lining things up and whatever. But I don't know.
Well, I guess I can go a little bit more. I've got 2 workbenches, or one workbench I can walk around. It's like 4 foot by 7 foot that I can walk around.
Nice.
And I have a drawing table, but it's up in the corner, but it's the same size with good lights. And when we bought this house new 6-7 years ago, and we had the basement refinished, and I told the contractor, we can't have too much light in this workshop. And he understood what I meant. And so we've got a lot of light down there.
That's great. That's the one thing I'm dying for. And I don't know if you can ever get too much light in the workshop, but I could definitely use more. So
Dennis, were you on when I showed my new LED paddle lights?
I did not see that. Nope.
Yeah, those are pretty nice. I've been meaning to get some myself.
I've seen those. How do you like that?
That screws into a light socket, and it's got
Right.
4 paddles on it. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I've got a couple of fluorescent lights hanging in the shop too, but I have 4 sockets, you know, that were the original lights for the garage. They just had incandescent bulbs in them. And I put those paddle lights in, and it was like the sun came on in here, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps your garage, you know, it doesn't heat it up, right? It doesn't make it really
No, it doesn't heat it up. And I looked around, you know, they sell them at Lowe's and Home Depot, but man, they were getting like, what were they getting? $30 for one, right? I found a 4-pack on Amazon that was higher lumens. I forget how many lumens they were, but it was a 4-pack for like $42. They were like they ended up being $10 a piece as opposed to $30 for one.
Yeah.
So you got to buy them on Amazon. That's all I can tell you.
All right.
And they just, like I said, they just screw into a regular light socket.
Yeah.
And then the paddles, you can put them all 4 up, you know, so it shines the light straight out, or you can angle them down, you know, because the 4 paddles flip up and down. I can't recommend them enough.
Well, there's one thing in my shop. I read somewhere, and Bob Whitney told me about it also, that he's able to spend some time with Dave Platt down there in Florida. And Dave Platt has a rack with 6 Dremel tools on it. So he has a specific tool then in each of those Dremel tools. So he doesn't have to spend time changing tools on the end of his Dremel. So I've got 2 Dremel tools like that, plus the battery operated Dremel tool, which I'm ending up using that more than the other 2 together. But it's so handy to have those things set up with tools already in them, where you're not constantly changing tools from one to another.
Yes. Let me welcome Jim Hoffman. Jim, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you, buddy.
Hey,
Everybody
Charles.
know Jim Hoffman?
Who's Jim Hoffman? I heard of him once.
Nah, it must have been a rumor.
Yeah, I think he's somewhere in Arizona, near Phoenix.
It is. It's warm.
I met Jim at the Las Vegas Stunt Challenge last year. I've been reading his posts on Stunthangar for years, but I got to meet him in person in Vegas last year.
Yeah, that's it. That's
It was
it.
fun, Jim.
Well, there's
Well, it's nice
pictures
to
in
meet
the
you.
post office and stuff like that. But, straight on, left profile, right.
He's one of the good guys down there.
Good to see you, Hoff.
I got to see
Uh,
Charles a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
I was in San Diego. I have family there, and I brought an airplane, and we, Charles and I and Dave Sabon and a couple other guys I don't know went airplane flying one morning.
That's great.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Hey, Charles.
Yes, Mark.
I'd be curious if guys want to play. I've done this with some other friends of the one tool in your shop you would never give up.
Oh, okay.
The most valuable tool in your shop. I'll start it for me. Years ago, I bought a 12-inch disc sander with variable speed,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
that is just dynamite.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Mine is not variable, so I only can imagine how nice that would be.
it is. It's
Variable.
wonderful. Yeah. Any of you guys want to share your most valuable shop tool?
I think it'd be my Dremel tool.
Man, I got 2. I got to say bandsaw and vise. I use my vise a lot to hold stuff.
I know I
have
bought
a
both the
machinist-
scroll saw and the disc sander. I know it's a tough call. I guess the scroll saw would be the toughest thing to do without.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. There's some things that are indispensable. You have to have the X-Acto knife and the blades.
Yes. Yeah.
And you have to have sanding blocks.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, if you're talking about other than those basic things,
Right.
X-Acto and the sanding blocks, Then it's, for me, it's a toss up between the sander and the scroll saw and the vise.
Yeah.
And the drill press.
I have a machinist square that I think I use constantly. And last year I bought a relatively high-end hobbyist table saw. And that was one of these tools. I said, oh my God, how did I do this all these years without this? I drove to Tucson to have Callentine make me a cut one day that I now can do on my own with that table saw.
How big a blade is that for you, Jim?
It's about a 4.5-inch diameter blade.
And how big of a table?
Oh, 10 by 10 maybe.
Really?
It's the Micro Mark high-end one. I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, I have one of those too. It's terrific.
It's not Harbor Freight thing, is it?
No.
No.
It's Micro Mark, and the blade tilts.
Okay.
I've got the Dremel that does that.
I think the old Dremel was the only other one that was comparable to it, and those aren't available.
Yeah, I've got. Is this what you're talking about right there?
Something similar, but it's not the same as that. Yeah.
That one, and the blade tilts. The blade tilts on it.
Yeah, very similar.
Dremel 4-inch. I inherited that from Mac Henry, old combat guy here.
Yep.
That was Mac's.
So those are my tools that I use constantly.
I've got a Craftsman floor-mounted drill press from the 50s. My dad had it in his basement. And I've actually used that as a poor man's milling machine sometimes. I've got a vise to be able to clamp down and be able to crank stuff forwards and backwards and sideways using the Dremel tools.
Yeah.
Not very accurate, but better than nothing at all.
I use my bandsaw and my drill press probably the most. I mean, they're right next to each other. I go back and forth. But I mean, I could find another way around it, but I mean, it's convenient to have those two things there. Real nice bandsaw and a drill press.
Yeah, and I know Charles knows this. You guys might not, but all my key tools are on this table over here.
Yeah, that is a cool setup.
My drill press, my bandsaw, my belt sander, my scroll saw, the Dremel, and my vise. I got something on, and my bench grinder too. But that table is on casters. So when I'm really going to be making a big mess, I can just wheel it right out the door there to my driveway. Obviously, weather permitting, but that's most times here in Tennessee. So if I know I'm going to be cutting a lot of balsa or doing a lot of sanding, I just wheel that bad boy 8 feet out the door, and then I don't have all the mess in the shop.
That's a neat setup, Mike. I remember when you first showed that to me. I thought that was.
And then I can walk around it too. Here in the shop, I got room to walk around it. If I'm just doing a little, couple cuts or need to touch something on the belt sander, I don't worry about taking it outside. But if I'm doing heavy work, that's what I call it, heavy work. I roll it out, Yeah.
Did anybody ever see Tom Morris's workshop?
I did.
You did? Wow.
I did.
That's the ultimate workshops.
Yeah.
Vacuum for all of these tools and every tool imaginable, and it was really a piece of work. It is a piece of work.
Well, he's literally mass producing model airplanes, so it's probably that's really necessary for him to be able to do that. Keith, you mentioned having multiple Dremel tools. I couldn't believe what a difference. I used to take my Dremel tool out when I needed it and put it away when I was done with it. All right.
Right.
Kept the shop nice and neat and everything like that. It made such a difference when I just, I don't know, somebody mentioned I leave it out all the time so I don't have to reach for it. And what a difference that is, and I'm willing to change the tools and everything like that. But I could see where that would be, only use, routinely use about 2 or 3 tools in the thing anyway. If I had 2 or 3, machines, I might never change a tool,
Right. Well, I did that without even consciously thinking about it I had my Dremel took a dump on me, so I went and bought a new one. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go buy one of these cheapo Harbor Freight Dremels, which, you know, they don't stack up. They're not near what they are, not what the Dremel is. But I had both, and I was using my Dremel one day and changing between a cutting disc and a sanding, and I'm going, you know, why don't I just get that other one out and put another tool in it? And granted, the Harbor Freight one is not as good as a Dremel, but if you're doing light sanding on something, it'll work. It does, you know, it bogs down on the cutting disc, but if you're using the barrel sander, the Tootsie Roll, it'll do the job. So I have both of mine out, and they're both plugged in. Hell, I might go buy one or two more just so I can do exactly what you're talking about. Because changing the tools is a pain in the butt.
It is a pain, yeah.
I always break the cutting disc
I know.
when I'm changing the tool. When I'm taking the cutting disc out or putting one in, I always break it. So it'd be nice to have a little stand-up rack and just have them lined up, you know?
I gave up keeping the sanding disc or the cutting tool in my Dremel. I just gave up. Every time I left it in there, it'd get broken some way or another. So I just now when I want to use it, I just install it and I take it out because they always get broken.
But the other thing about
Bob Hunt said that he found that the Black & Decker tool was better than the Dremel tool.
He did say that. I remember him saying that thing lasted forever and had higher RPMs. He said it was a better tool all around.
I tell you something I got just a couple of years ago for some other project, and it's found its way into some modeling things is so-called multi-tools, basically the vibrators, the blade on it and stuff like that. And those things, that thing has helped me out of some problems and stuff that would have been difficult, you know, to do anything any other way.
Yeah.
And that's something I usually, you know, that one I still put it away when I'm not using it and stuff like that. But
I haven't found a modeling application for the multi-tool with the fan blade, but I'll tell you what, I've used it on a lot of DIY home projects, man.
Mm-hmm.
You need to cut a door jamb a little bit wider to, you know, accommodate a door or something. I mean, it does a great job at that.
It's got a nice sanding head on it that I have never used, but I would imagine it would be really handy on sanding like plywood or something like that. But
hey, Jim, is this the same one you have?
Is it Micro Mark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks nice.
Hold it still. I think it is. I'm going to send Keith a link to the
Proxen.
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's a nice
Very
one.
nice.
That looks better than the Dremel.
It's pretty precise, and it has some really nice gauges to keep the wood, you know, the constant distance from the blade. It's a nice unit. They don't give any of these away, but I think it's worth the money.
Well, what do they cost?
Oh boy.
Mine cost about $3.50, and you'll spend another $150 on accessories.
Oh my God, I could get a freaking badass table saw for that, man.
well, that's what it is, Mike.
Well, you know, a real one,
It's just a badass table saw. It's model size. That's all.
Yeah.
It does everything a full size does.
Mike, it is
I don't have room for a full size one.
Yeah, it is a real one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I understand.
I was told that the major buyers of this table saw are really finished carpenters, not hobbyists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hey, one more thing about Dremel tools. That little electric battery-powered Dremel tool is really handy. It stands in its own charger, so it's always charged. It's got a little light in the nose of the thing. So if you're trying to get around and not having to worry about the cord where it's going and tearing something up, get that thing inside a corner or something that you can't get to any other way, that little battery-powered Dremel tool is really a neat thing. And it's
I agree.
too.
I tell you what, I always used to use a regular, plug-in quarter-inch drill, right? Handheld drill.
Mhm.
And when I first started using the cordless drills, I couldn't believe how handy it was to have that, not having to drag it out, plug it in,
Yeah.
wrestle with the cord, put it all back away and stuff, but just having it, grabbing and going on it and stuff. That was another tool that I use an awful lot of. I didn't mention before, but it comes in handy, just being able to grab and go. But kind of just kind of ties in what Keith was saying with the battery operated Dremel. It's handy to have something like that ready to go. So
Speaking of batteries, most of those hand tools that are batteries are, they're all lithium now. And usually when the packs go bad, there's usually just one or two dead cells in there. There's still good batteries in there.
Mhm.
I have a buddy that takes those battery packs apart and builds packs out of them for his electric bicycle.
really,
Because they're the same cells that they
Yeah,
use
right.
to build battery packs for electric bikes. There's just a bunch more of them, and they whack you pretty good, man, like $600-700 for a battery pack for electric bicycle.
right.
So he's been building his own out of discarded power tools, discarded battery operated power tools for about 5 years now.
Hmm.
You just got to be willing to, do the work and take them apart and put them back
Yeah.
together.
I think that requires aluminum welding and stuff like that. That's
Mhm.
that is
got
that
there,
is the
Jim. That
greatest
is
set of
very
forceps I've ever
interesting.
seen.
Is that for a OBGYN doctor?
Well, I got this from a doctor. It's a medical tool. And it's one of these tools. I use it about twice a year when you need to get down somewhere. But I love this little tool. I call it an alligator.
Yep.
That is very cool.
Good one.
I've seen these in the Micromark catalog. I don't know what they cost.
Yeah.
This is a real medical one I got from a real doctor.
That is really neat, Jim. Wow. Yeah, because sometimes it's in an impossible place that you got to get to get a washer or a nut fell down inside a place, and you're like, damn it, how am I going to get that out?
Yeah. I've been flying e-power this last few years, and I'm finding you got to deal down in the cavities of things, and this is handy for that.
That's good.
That is very cool.
I have something similar, although not as precise, but when I'm working on cars and you always drop that bolt.
Yeah.
Or you drop that nut. This is just a plunger.
Right, just a grabber.
With a grabber on the bottom, or even stuff rolls under the shelf. I can shine a flashlight back there and go in there and grab. It's always the last 440 nut that I have. I don't have any more, and I lose it.
Exactly.
I gotta get it. So that's a pretty handy one. Any auto parts store has that.
Any of you guys using a head-mounted flashlight?
Yes.
I just got one of those a couple of months ago, and I'm on my second set of batteries. So.
Yeah.
with magnifying lenses.
I want to show you another saw that's much more price preferred, but I like this a lot. It's made by Rockwell. I don't know if you can see it. It's a table saw mounted.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Is that like a radial arm?
Yeah,
it
looks like
comes
it.
up and it's got a vacuum attachment on the top of it. It's variable speed. It's very accurate. You can do things like 1/8-inch ply or something like that without you don't even have to sand it.
And it's radial. It moves back and forth.
Well, let me see if I can hold it. This just keeps the work down. There's the blade.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's just for safety. But the tools that come with it are very, very nice. Easy to turn, easy to hold. Does a really nice job. And it was like maybe 130.
Yeah, but that blade doesn't tilt.
No.
That's the discriminator that drives the price up.
Yeah.
That's a nice tool you have, Tom.
Yeah. I tilt, but the saw doesn't.
Well, is that a reciprocating saw then, Mike, or Mark,
Yes.
or is it a rotary?
No, reciprocating.
Okay.
Oh.
I used to go to the dentist once a year when I was in the Air Force, And after they took care of things, so I'd go to their back room, talk to the corpsman back there, and say, do you have any extra tools? And they'd open up these drawers, the stuff they're getting ready to dispense with. And I picked up forceps and picks and mirrors and tweezers and scissors, surgical scissors. I've got a whole drawer full of that stuff.
Oh, very cool. That's a good idea.
Very handy.
Yeah, my wife's a nurse, and she had several pairs of stainless steel scissors on their way home. Kits that were, you know, they'd have these, you know, what, bandage kits or what, I don't even know what they came in, but they had these kits, and in many, you know, they'd have a little set of tools with it, and a lot of times they wouldn't even use the scissors or anything like that, but they were still there, and because it was medically, you know, related, basically you were supposed to dispose of it when it was done. You know, they didn't even bother, you know, trying to re-sanitize or anything like that. So
you say hi
really
to
kind of a
Phil
shame when
Bailey.
you come right down to it.
Hey,
Hey, speaking of a
thank you for
shame,
coming in.
oh, sorry, Phil.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
Doing good. Hey, I missed Mark's. I don't know what you were just talking about, but Mark was showing an interesting looking tool. I just have no idea what the heck that thing was, but it looked interesting.
Yeah,
It's like border cable, I think.
let me see if I can get it up here again. Yeah.
And by the way,
it's
Jim
a,
Hoffman, by the way, Jim Gordon says hi, buddy.
there you go.
That's neat. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a jigsaw, isn't it?
It is, but it's nice.
That is
Got a nice
sharp.
board, very accurate, and really nice cut.
Porter cable. I'll have to look into one of those then.
Rockwell and
Rockwell. Okay.
and it's
Rockwell.
My mistake, Phil. I thought it was porter cable.
That's okay.
it's not very expensive, which I liked. It was $130 or something like that, and it works very well.
That I can afford.
Yeah.
I got to find out who sells Rockwell around here.
Take a walk down memory lane here. Let's see if any of you guys ever had one of these. This is, let me get it in the,
Let me make it big.
Oh yeah.
am I big?
Just a second.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
Now
can't
you're big.
This was my dad's table saw, jigsaw, Sears and Roebuck, 1950.
Wow.
And this is what my old man built all of his airplanes on in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Nice.
Still got it, still works.
Yep.
Yep, they made things to last back then.
Hey, can somebody
I got
ask,
an old.
can somebody
Go ahead.
ask how Gordy's hand is?
Yeah, you just did.
Gordy, how's your hand? Can you talk?
It might take him a minute or two to answer there, but
Yeah.
sounded pretty serious from what Brent was describing, last week, I guess. But
Yeah.
What got
Friday
him?
night.
The twin,
Propeller.
electric twin. I mean, but the twin, not electric, but the twin with the
When
magnums.
with the Magnum 15s.
I think they're like 8.6 props, APCs.
APCs.
Is Gordon Delaney on this call? I don't see him listed.
Yeah, he's in the chat, and he told me to tell you hi from your bud Gordy. That's
I'm
what he
back
said.
at you, Gordon. Yeah.
So hope he's gonna be all right. Gordy's a heck of a competitor.
And hey, Phil,
An
you're
heck
going
of
to
a
send me
builder.
your address for this plan.
Didn't it come through?
I haven't seen
I
it.
sent it last week. It didn't come through. I'll try again. I'll put it through there again. Let me see. I got to remember how to do it on the iPad because I'm not on the computer tonight.
Well, just send it a message on the forum. Send a message on Stunthangar. That'll do it.
Yeah, I did last week. I sent it to you, private message, and just had my name, address, and telephone number on it.
Yeah, I didn't get
I'll try again,
I'll-
Keith. I
I'll-
must have done something wrong.
I'll go look.
I see it.
So
Okay.
I have a response from Gordon. He says, not too good, Keith.
Sorry to hear
Well, that's
that.
a shame.
Well, hope it gets better.
That's it.
Quickly.
And Gordon, Jim says, hope all is well. Heard about your hand.
I don't mean to be cogging the camera too much tonight, but another thing about this Martin Baker, I can show it
There we go.
somewhere here. It had this little ramp down here on the bottom, like a P-51. It had an air scoop on the bottom, and air would go through that, and then this ramp would open and close, and that was controllable from the ground too. Had 5 wires going into this thing.
5
Oh my
wires?
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of handle did you have?
I used a regular Roberts handle for the throttle, and the flaps and this shutter thing, I operated that off the 2-line system, and it had a thing, a little mechanism inside that the flaps could raise and lower with a little bell crank in there. And then when it went to full stop on one side, the ramp would open up, and then you go to full stop on the other, the thing would trip over to raise the ramp. So I had 5 lines, 3 lines to carry the airplane, and then the 2 extra lines were like 10,000 steel.
It was something to see, guys. That's the one you had at the Nationals. Isn't that the one that the guy protested and said the little muffler was not a muffler?
Yeah, I can tell a story about that if anybody wants to hear it.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh boy, what's his name? He was AMA district vice president. He has these kids flying scale. But that last Nationals, I flew this thing. He came running over and says, that's not a muffler, it's not a muffler. Well, what I had a tongue muffler that was cut off to be right against or shaved against the cow. So there was no muffler extension on it. So really all it was a little bit of a muffler extension with a cap on it, a whole bunch of drills on it. So it was really a tongue muffler, but very short. And he came running over, and I'll admit it made a lot of noise. When I ran it up in the pits, it made a lot of noise. And so he came over and protested. He put in an official protest that I didn't have a muffler. And Kathy Bernstein, I think, was the event director. And I said, well, can I counter protest? She said, sure. And so I wrote up something that said, the rules don't specify what a muffler is for control line scale, or what it has to look like, or even how much it has to muffle. So this is a tongue muffler, and it does some muffling. So the AMA said they'll check it. So they brought over the sound equipment from the RC field and had me run up the engine full power with the muffler on, and then I took the muffler off, and even if there's only 1 dB difference, it was a muffler. And that's about what it was. So they said it's a muffler, and they went on their way.
Wow.
His protest didn't stand, and my place in that contest that year stood.
Hey, Keith, when you guys file protests in scale, do you have to pay money to do that?
Yes.
Is it $50?
Something like that.
Okay, that's how FAI combat is too.
I don't know if it's that much money, but and then if the protest fails, you lose the money.
Right. Yeah.
If the protest sticks, you get your money back. But if it fails, then you lose your money.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Didn't you win that year, Keith?
Yes. It was high precision, high static points, and enough static points to overcome the points it didn't get when it flew because it didn't have retracts. And
well, that thing was so...
It wasn't windy that day either, so that helped a lot.
That plane was so meticulous, you didn't need any more points. That thing was amazing. That was by far the sharpest thing on the field.
It had high precision points at 3 nationals. 3rd place, 2nd place, and then the 1st place.
Yeah. I was amazed. I'd seen the one from the 70s, and I didn't think you could beat that, and you did.
And we had a good time with it, but it came time, we're getting ready to move. We're planning on moving from California, and we really didn't have a place to keep it or to store it. And I contacted the AMA if they'd be interested in having it, and they said sure. And so we shipped it off to them. but I had somebody appraise it first, and that's where we got this. I won't even say how much deduction we got on our income tax, but it made it worthwhile.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I bet it did. I bet it did. Oh,
I understand,
that
Jim,
was.
that you have to leave shortly. Thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Did anybody fly today or Saturday?
Did I went flying, and you went flying, Dennis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fine.
I did
Not
too.
fair. Not fair.
I know it's not,
Not
fair.
fair?
No.
Not fair.
What's fair have to do with anything? No, I flew well Saturday. I took out the Mobest in the morning, had a really good morning session, went to the soccer game, got back from the soccer game, took my old timer out and had a really bad session. And came home. I had to change my ESC, and I took it out this morning and had 5 good flights. So I guess I'm back on. So then
Which one are
it
you
started
flying?
raining this afternoon. It's supposed to rain the next 2 days, and then starting Thursday,
shit.
Friday, Saturday, we got the grandkids. So I don't think I may be all practice for Brodak. Let's put it that way. So
Yeah. Well, I got out this morning and went with Tom and there was a couple other people there. Terry came and Buddy Barbie came. The four of us had a pretty good time. I kept chasing the RPM. I've got a RSM timer in this particular plane, and I had it too fast and I got it too slow, and I kept ramping up on it. So I decided when I come home tonight, I'll ramp it up 200 RPM and see what happens next time I go, which was supposed to be in the morning, but it's not going to happen. I got too many things to do. Wednesday, I had to go help my daughter. We were supposed to have gone this past Saturday and be there through tonight, and instead, she decided she needed some time off. So we're going Wednesday morning down and help her, and then come back Saturday, and then Sunday morning leave for Brodak. So it's going to be a crazy week. But anyway, I did do 6 full patterns, but I still can't get the overheads overhead. They're still out in front of me. So
What? So I guess your shoulders doing better, Phil. What are you flying? Any events at Brodak? What are you flying?
No, I'm not flying. No, it's doing better, but I'm scared to push it. Everything I've built for this year is the humongous is a Tiger 60. No, won't be flying that. Well, everything I've got is big motors. The best flying plane I've got right now is the SV11 with a Tiger 60 in it, and there's no way I can fly that thing. It just kills me. It just pulls too hard. But the Vector fly is great, but it's an ARF.
Yeah. Speaking of the SV, have you been following my query on Stunthangar about Nostalgia 30?
No, I haven't. I haven't had a chance to check anything, honestly. I've been chasing brakes, working on brakes and everything, trying to get ready for this weekend.
So since I've got that new 75 pipe ship, Sam flew my SV11 the other day with the 65.
Yeah, I saw the tape.
Yeah, and he can handle it. So then I got thinking, man, this thing's got to be close to N30. So I posted a query in the N30, and then I actually called Randy, and he said, well, I got to look when I get home. I'm on the road. And he called me back yesterday. He said, yep, plans were published in 91. First one was built early 92 by Bill Rich and flown at the 92 Nats. So the SV11, which is the current version of the Brodak ARF, it's the same kit, same design. That is legal for.
I never told you.
And then
Randy told you that was 30 years old. Yeah.
Randy added 2 more. Randy added 2 more to the list. The Intrepid and the Intrepid XL are also N30 eligible as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, well, what that does for us is, I mean, Sam's out, he's going to fly the SV in Pampa, but now we can both fly that plane in N30. Now we got something to fly in N30, and we don't have to take 2 more airplanes to fly N30 to Brodak.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you got a good flying SV from what I can see. Do what? You don't have N30.
I haven't seen an N30 contest out here in the West Coast.
It's not big on the West Coast. You guys fly classic.
We just have classic
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've always been
Yeah, we have
surprised. I
plan-
really
we have-
thought the NOS 30 event was going to take over everything when they first announced they were going to do it, and it's just never really caught on. Numerically, it's not as big as the classic event, even out east. And then, of course, like at VSC, they're flying Super 70s, which had a time window and stuff.
Mhm.
But the NOS 30, maybe it's because of things like, the SV-11 is still considered a contemporary airplane. And so it's hard to think of it as a 30-year-old, piece or
Well,
something like that.
They tried when they came up with NOS 30. That was actually, I know who came up with the idea for the nostalgia event. And if I say it, I'm going to get a bunch of backlash. But I remember when he did it, and I have the proof, and I just don't want to get into all that. But the original idea was going to be, one of the original rules was no tune pipes. And that was, but you can't do that because the tune pipe itself is 30 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so they're going to have to allow it. If they were going to have backlash in it, they'd have to backlash classics with electric, and a bunch of us fly those. So,
Yeah, it's like putting an
what
electric motor on an old-time stunt plane.
I've seen guys do that.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you're going to say, let's have Nostalgia 30, but no tune pipes, that's...
Yeah. Well, it'd be the same thing. You couldn't do electric if he's going to do that.
Exactly.
It'd only be fair. It'd only be fair. So I'm glad that they're allowing it. I haven't seen, I have electric, I have tune pipe, I have mufflers, I have no muffler planes. And I don't see an advantage to any of them as far as one being something over the other. I mean, Tom Looper, he does have a plane that his ombre is tune pipe, but Tom will take a muffler and beat anybody on a given day. I mean, everybody's got his day, but I've seen there's just no real advantage to having a pipe. I mean, it's more in your head than it is a real advantage to have a specific power system. Now, I will say, I think the pipes are better than mufflers because they are a regulator. I think the electrics are a step up from that. But it's what you get used to and what you practice with. If it weren't, it would be like the kid that came to the contest and bought my airplane, came over and hounded the fool out of me until I sold him my airplane because I'd won with it the week before at another contest. He came over and just drove me nuts till I sold him that airplane. He went over and took off with it and thought he was supposed to win because that's a winning airplane. He'd never flown before. He made half a lap and power drove it in the ground, then wanted his money back because that airplane didn't fly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm just sitting there, you got to be kidding me. So his buddies all laughed at him, and he didn't get his money back, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, he even destroyed the motor.
Yeah.
I think for me,
No,
the draw of Nostalgia 30 is being able to have a competitive Pampa airplane that is also eligible for that event. That eliminates.
I just think it's neat.
That eliminates the need for me because I got Sam, and we're always two airplanes apiece. That's one airplane we can share. That frees up room in the truck, and it also makes life easier if we're only trying to trim and tune one airplane for that event, as opposed to 2 airplanes for this event, 2 airplanes for this event, 2 airplanes for this event.
You've been to Huntersville. I think you were there the year that I think 5 people flew Will Davis's Teosaki.
Yeah, I flew it. I crashed it. Well, it wasn't a year 5 people flew it, but the year I flew it, I bonked it in. I pancaked it. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
There was one year 5 people flew it. So
yeah,
it's we've had contests where a bunch of people flew the same airplane, and I've loaned 2 airplanes at contests down there and gone home without an airplane because people who borrowed them tore them up. So I mean, you play the game, you take your chances. But I don't know. I've also gone down there and loaned. I don't know if any of you remember him, but Roy Phillips borrowed my Zilch, Super Duper Zilch, down there one year and spanked me with it.
Oh, that's
Mr. Ringmaster spanked me with my super duper zilch. I mean, he whooped me soundly, and it was with my airplane. He only had about 10 flights on it, if he had that. But he took it over and put up several flights while we were practicing other planes. He practiced with that zilch, and he got good with it. But Roy was famous for showing up at a contest with one airplane, a Ringmaster. Flew it in old time, flew it in classic, flew it in profile, flew it in AMA, and he did well in all classes.
Wow.
I mean, he wasn't first in anything, but usually old time and profile, he was dangerous at. But he showed in every class. You knew he was there, and he borrowed that zilch and just absolutely spanked me with that darn thing. I couldn't believe it.
Did he tell you thanks?
Yeah, he did.
Well,
He said that's best flying. He said that's one of the better flying airplanes I've had my hands on. I said, well, I like it, but I thought I'd fly the new one because that thing was about 6 years old at that time.
That's better than what Bart Topinski did to me one year when they were
What'd
flying
he do?
half A. They were flying half A at the Nats, and I had my half A Tercel, and it flew pretty good. And
you won with it at least once, I think twice.
I won twice at the Nats with it, and then the year that Bart flew it, we both flew it, and he beat me. He got first, and he didn't even say thanks.
Oh Lord, that would hurt. I have a kit to that downstairs. I've been wanting to build, but I'm trying to find.
That kit.
Do what?
That kit, I would recommend not. It's we
Not?
made it bigger. We made it too big, and there's too much wood in it. It's too heavy. It'd be good for maybe an 09.
Well, you know, Mike,
okay.
Mike Lonke has an answer to slightly too big Tercel, I think. Mike?
Yeah, put a Profi in it or a Cyclone with a bladder.
Yeah, I mean, he'd do that. He'd probably turn it. Well, heck, that would be. What do we say? Your half A stunner is 360 squares. I think is what we figured.
Yeah, 360.
No,
So-
that the kit for the Tercel was more like 240, 250.
But it's about 2 inches thick.
Yeah.
For a half A.
I'm flying 360 squares on 60-foot lines with 4.5 second lap times.
Well,
with the
yeah, but
I flew the Tercel, had 210 squares, a TD 049 on 50-foot lines.
50, yeah.
It could handle the wind just fine. Thank you very much.
Did you fly that on? Did you run the TD on suction or pressure or?
It worked best on suction.
Okay.
Does AMA still have the plans to that, Keith?
They should. Yeah, from the magazine article, they should.
That was model aviation.
Well, model aviation. Yeah.
Okay.
It goes back sometime mid '76.
Okay.
Mid '70s.
If this one's too big, I obviously want to build one, or I wouldn't have bought a kit. I'm gonna find a set of plans to it, and I'll build that one too.
Well,
I have
Eric wanted to put us into a kit, and I said, well, we want to make it. I said 10% bigger, so that's really making it 120% bigger, and that puts the wing area over 240, 250 squares. And
so I can just take the plans I've got and make them 80%, and they'd be all right then.
Well, and then cut down on the wood. The original had 3/32 inch ribs, no cap stripping, and 32nd inch sheeting on the leading edge. So it had tried to get by with minimum wood. And on the kit, when the guy that drew up the plans for the kit, he put cap stripping on it and 16th inch leading edges, and it just ended up being too much wood for an 049 to handle.
Well, I gotta admit that's the reason I hadn't already built it. I looked at it and said that's gotta be too heavy.
It is. Put an 09 on it, might work. So I'm really sorry about that. And Eric and I made a big mistake on that.
Well, you can't hit a home run every time.
But that airplane worked from the box. The genesis of that airplane.
Bad choice of words.
It is bad choice, but the plan form and dimensions are a genesis, just slimmed down. For the wing area, the tail moment and tail and all that, it's a Genesis, scaled down Genesis.
I'll be
But the
darned.
airfoil
Okay.
is a direct lift from an Al Raby airplane.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how that thing came about.
Keith, was
Yeah.
Win Paul's little half-A Olympic, was that ever published?
I don't think so.
Okay. I thought it might have been, but I could never find any record of it.
I've got a
I could
book.
never find plans to it.
Yeah.
I've got a book of all the half-A airplanes that have been published, including those airplanes that started to appear there in the mid 70s, like the Tercel was. There were a bunch of airplanes that were published. I could go get them all, but they're all about the same size. They all work pretty well, I think. But the Tercel, I think, was a step above most of them because it was light, and I know it could handle the long lines and could handle the wind.
Yeah, and they were all about right around 200, low 200s, right?
210.
Yeah.
The year that I saw Keith. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I got the plans for. I can't think of the name of it. I think it was.
Blue Wolgast had one.
Yeah. I got that one. The Mirage.
Yeah.
The Mirage.
And
Dick Byron had an F5 or a
it
T-38 or something like
smaller. That was a T-38 sort of thing. It was smaller, or an F5, I should say. And there were about 3 or 4 others of that same size as what the Tercel was.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lou Wolgast Mirage was probably one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Leela,
it certainly looks good.
Well, and it worked better. In following the idea of the Genesis, I didn't have a vertical tail on it, just had a straight back. And because I always called Bobby Hunt's Genesis a flying eel, but he didn't appreciate that. I put a bit of a vertical tail. In fact, the kit plans show 3 different configurations for the tail. One sort of a jet style thing, and the other just a plain ordinary vertical tail sitting on it, as well as the straight back on it. But it flew better. It needed the area and the aft end. It handled the vertical stuff a lot better.
Oh, I was going to build it like yours. Just build it straight back.
I put a tail on it. It flew better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was wondering why nobody took it and blew it up to 40 size or something like that and just copied it. I thought it had a shape that would have presented well. So
Keith flew it the year I saw Keith fly that thing. A guy showed up with a little half-A Cobra, and I thought the Cobra was just cool. It just looked really sharp, but it didn't fly very well. I couldn't figure out why, and I went over and picked it up. Wow! If you picked up Keith and you picked up the Cobra, half-A Cobra weighed half again what Keith's airplane weighed. Now we're only talking 3-4 ounces, but I mean, not talking much weight, but it was noticeably heavier, and it didn't have near the airfoil.
Mm-hmm.
So it just didn't work.
That's right.
I've got a story to tell about half-A at one of the Nats. If anybody wants to hear it, it's not so much about me; it's about another guy.
Go ahead.
Is at the Nats, and I forget what year. And there was a guy that showed up there that nobody knew, and he's just there to fly a half-A stunt. And he had a half-A ship that probably is 240, 250 square inches. It looked like is an I-beamer, probably covered with silk span. It wasn't silk, it was clear dope finish, and looked like an I-beamer. Had a whole bunch of ribs. And we saw him practice, and I said, "Hey, this guy's pretty good." And I never went over and talked to him, but Larry Ringer had gone over and talked to him, and he asked him what engine he had in that. He had, I think, an 061 or something. It wasn't legal for the way the rules were then. It was only for 049s, 051s. So Larry took it upon himself and went over to the contest director, who I think was Dan Barry, and said, "That guy's flying an airplane without an 049." So Danbury checked, and yeah, he had an 061 in it. So couldn't let it fly. Well, a friend of mine, Bob Whitney, who some of you may know, lives in Florida, had a friend, Wayne Tribbin, who is long gone, came over. They wanted to watch me fly half-a stunt. Wayne Tribbin was interested in that. And as Wayne Tribbin is a master machinist, he makes his own little half-a speed engines. That's another story. So Wayne Tribbin went over to his car and pulled out this handmade, special machined racing 049 that you used in speed and said, put this in the airplane. So the guy did. This guy started to put his own propeller on, and Wayne said, no, here, take this prop, put this prop on it. And he put that prop on there, and that thing flew like it never flown before. And Larry Ringer came over and said, what engine is that? He won. And then we never saw him again. I don't know who he was or where he went. It is a shame that we never saw him again, because he seemed like a pretty nice guy, and he could really fly, and he had a good airplane. And this Wayne Tribbin, I'll have to show you the next meeting, this little engine. When he died, I got some of the stuff. Bob Whitney sent me one of the engines he had in his collection. And this thing is a work of art. I'll have to show it to you next time.
Al Fierro's
Somebody's
coming
got
in.
two tabs open.
I'm going to mute you, Al Fierro. Okay, I muted it. Sorry about that. You have two images. I didn't know which one to mute, so I muted the wrong one first, and I muted the right one. So if you want to unmute yourself,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
Keith, you talking about Bob Whitney? I've seen him take a Cyclone and turn it into a Reed valve engine for mouse racing.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, that's what when Sam started flying mouse a couple years ago at the Nats, Bob donated the airplane and the engine, and of course him and Dave Hallis pitted for him and taught him how to race 3-up. But that's what Bob had. I was like, because it's an 049 Reed valve event, and mainly Cox, Black Widows, and stuff like that. Or might have some guys with some Galbraith, some built Galbraith 049s, and I go, is that thing? How is that possibly legal? And he goes, well, it's an 049. And it's got a Reed valve in it. It's not running on a bladder or a suction tank. It's got a Reed. It's a Reed valve engine, and he redesigned the whole back end of a Cyclone 049 to run on a Reed valve.
So did he do okay with that?
Well, Sam was top junior that year, so he won. And the motor started and ran great, and good starts, good pits. Whitney has some pretty amazing racing engine stuff. I'm pretty impressed with the things that he does.
He makes some good propellers too.
Well, and the thing he did too with the Cyclone was he could put it back like in 5 minutes. He could turn it back into, a Cyclone free flight or combat engine. It wasn't a permanent modification to the engine. He just made a block on the back with a Reed valve and a needle valve.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, you just basically unscrew the back plate and you put in Bob's little device, and then it's a Reed valve 049. Take it off, put the original back plate back on it, and then you can run on a bladder for combat or free flight. Hey, Lenny, I was waiting.
How are we doing?
Yeah, man.
You're in here. I wanted to talk to you tonight.
Let me first say hi to Al Fierro. Thanks for coming in. And Lynn, hi. And then thanks for coming in. And let me catch up on the chat box. I want to apologize to Jim Lynch. I think your message came in after Jim Hoffman left, but he was basically giving high praise to Jim Hoffman. So sorry about that, Jim Lynch. But Gordon Delaney has a question. Oh, Keith's not here. So when Keith comes back, I have a question from Gordon Delaney for Keith. So go ahead, Mike and Lynn, go ahead.
Well, nobody's going to speak. Hi, Jim.
And John Miller's coming in.
Sorry.
All right.
I had my mic off. I got the LA 15 ready for clown racing.
Oh,
right.
perfect.
Oh, Lord.
And I was able to, the OS needle fit right in that, in the 15, which was pretty cool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did discover, though, the throat on the case for the Venturi, you can't put a bigger Venturi in it. The 25 doesn't fit because the throat on the case is smaller. So that was a little disappointing because I was hoping to make
That'd be cheating.
Well,
if you
it's
put
supposed to be
25.
bottom stock.
It's supposed to be okay. Well, I didn't know. Okay.
No, it's okay.
All right, Al. All right, Al. All right,
Well,
Len.
it was stock. It was just a stock 25, not a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got you. My question, Len, do I need, and for Al too, do we have to run mufflers on those? Do I need to bring a muffler for it?
No muffler.
No
No
muffler.
muffler. Okay, good.
Good.
This is ready to go then. Perfect.
1 ounce tank.
Oh, I need a 1 ounce tank?
Oh,
1 ounce
absolutely.
tank.
Oh boy, that might be a problem.
Oh, you got a week, Mike. You'll be all right.
You can get one at the store when we're there. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
1 ounce standard vent or
Yeah, whatever you want.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Some
okay.
guys use plastic ones, some guys use steel ones.
Some guys
Okay.
are thrown.
All right.
If you
Yeah,
use
Al,
plastic, I'm not bringing one.
Who's got an extra 1 ounce tank that'll fit a 15 clown, Al?
An extra one, I got them all on planes, but
What do you got there, Keith?
This is that engine that Al
Oh, my
Tridden
goodness.
gave to me.
Yeah. I remember seeing that.
It's an 049.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
and
Look where the Venturi is.
the
is that,
picture doesn't do this thing justice. Yeah, very.
oh, wow.
That
There you
thing
go.
is outstanding. Yeah, they are beautiful.
And he used this for racing and speed. And I think he's pretty competitive at the national level. And this is just some of the stuff that he did.
Who made that engine?
The name was Wayne Tridden. He
Oh,
lived-
okay,
He
yeah,
lived in Central Florida somewhere.
yeah.
And he had his own website. In fact, I think the website is still open.
Right.
It shows his stuff.
Yep.
And I think his name is spelled Trebin. It's worth looking at if you can find it.
He made the tank molds for Windy.
Okay.
The
I'm not
carbon
surprised.
fiber, yeah, the carbon fiber tank molds.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh, yeah.
surprised.
the Mirage.
Mirage in the house.
All right.
And,
Nice,
Everybody,
Al.
everybody has their half-A stunt planes all tuned up and ready for next week?
I'm ready for you, brother.
That is pretty, Al.
Oh, I haven't even started building mine yet.
Yeah, Al, half a Len's airplane is sitting on my workbench over here. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you, Len.
Yeah.
Would you like me? Well, go ahead.
Bladder, no
Al.
less.
I'll talk to Len after.
The little baby bladder, Mike, your Nelson will run for like maybe 20 seconds with that.
Yeah.
Wow,
But
that's
I-
cool.
I got it. I flew it Sunday and could do the pattern. I'm on 48-foot lines, 4.25 lap times, and
Wow.
it's just over 5 minutes.
That's good. That's a contender right there, man.
I wasn't able to fly it at the contest last year because when it came up to me, the lawn chairs were just ripping across the field, and the sister plane to this one, Jim flew it and got, you saw it, he got caught in the eights. The wind just took him, and the first time he tried it, it blew him out of it, and he recovered, and then he tried it again, and that time he couldn't recover, and he put it in.
Yeah.
He repaired it, so that his will be ready too.
Hey, Al, what's that can underneath the bottom? What is that can?
That's
Latitude.
Bladder holder.
the bladder goes in there.
Oh, okay.
That's where
All right.
I fill it up.
Yeah, I just saw a flash. I didn't know what it was, but
Yep.
it makes sense.
Bladder tube.
That's to
It's
make
a
it
good looking setup, Al.
Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely.
So, Len,
Yeah.
I got your
Good, Al.
wing. Do you want, instead of trying to cover that with Monocoat or some other type of iron-on film,
Right.
since I'm swimming deep in Fast Cal now,
Oh, could you bring me some? That'd be amazing.
I can bring enough Fast Cal and we
That'd
can
be awesome. awesome.
together, we can.
I was thinking about that and I didn't know what to do. So yeah, that's
Well,
awesome.
we
I
can
was going to ask. Yeah.
We can cover that wing in about 10 minutes, the two of us.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's
So
awesome.
I'll bring you some fast cal. And then the other question I had for you, what are you going to power this thing with?
Norvell 061.
On a tank?
Yes.
Would you like the option to put a Norvell AME that runs on a bladder on it?
No. I want to use my own motor because I want to be able to fly it the same when I get home. See what I mean?
Okay. All right. I'm offering
I appreciate it though. No,
this one runs about 24,000 RPM on a bladder.
Yeah, I'll bet it does.
Good.
I'll bet it does. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I can put it away then. I left it out,
Yeah,
so
I appreciate it, but no, I'll just try to run my own. It'll be
okay.
Right.
Well, I'll make sure we got the fast cal and
that's great. Thank you. Super.
Yeah.
Mine's just a stock Norvell.
the Big Mig, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm bringing.
This is one of the old AMEs that was set up by Don Cranfield.
If you look, the Venturi, I drilled it out for half-A combat, and I JB welded it back up again.
Okay.
And then I put an F2D
Needle valve, yeah.
spray bar in there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it hums, Al. I'm sure it hums.
Oh, it runs. I can make them run. I just can't make them, maneuver well. all day Sunday, my friends insisted that I need to have a P40 with a Super Tiger 46 in it. And that thing drove me crazy.
Oh, yeah, we talked.
So it took me like a gallon of fuel and maybe about 8 flying sessions to get it ironed out.
Did you get it straightened out finally? Because the last time we talked, you were pretty frustrated about it.
Oh, the thing was crazy. But yeah, I finally got it.
That's good.
So.
Mike, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said that was just unexpected. I didn't need all that extra drama, trying to figure out something that's
right before you go to a contest.
Right, yeah. Something that, running, I was ready to rip it off and put an LA 46 on there. And they go, no, you got to run the Tiger. You got to run the Tiger.
Okay, good deal.
Got a dumb question for you, Mike. Can you part with enough of that fast cal to redo one side of the tail of a TO? The TO? I patched the tail, but I don't want to strip all that old stuff off of there and try to put it back with Monaco.
Oh man, with inflation right now, fast cal's going like $100 a yard, man.
Oh my word!
I got you, Phil. I'll have a bunch with me at Brodex because I'm going to bring some for Len, and then I always bring, a yard
a
or
little extra, yeah,
to repair our combat stuff, and then also, it makes good patches on even regular stunt stuff.
It does. It does.
Did you score some?
Yeah. Go ahead, Al.
Did you just score some fast cal or?
I did.
The original stuff or the new stuff that they were?
New stuff. Mm.
Oh, he froze up.
No, it's the original stuff. He got some of the stuff from one of the guys there that had passed. He got some from a estate.
Okay, yeah, because I saw on that thread, I was just looking at it, that they said they found the company that made it, the name, and but you got to buy it like 1,000 feet of it.
1,000 feet. Holy
Toledo! Ridiculous amount. Yeah,
that'd last a combat flyer 10 years. Good grief!
Hey guys, I have a question from the chat box. This is a question toward Keith Trossel. This is from Gordon Delaney. Keith, he says, Keith, do you remember when 5 people flew my twin and we took the top 6 places? You remember that?
Yes. Let's see, who all was that? It was Bob Whiteley and Bart Klipinski, me, Gordy. I'm not sure who. There were 5 people there. It may have been Dennis Choate. I'm not too sure. And Bart and Bob Whiteley and myself, we didn't fly it until we flew the official contest. I think
There we go.
Whiteley won. I didn't get a complete engine run, but I still came in that event 4th or 5th. And one of the engines ran out of gas. I blame Gordy on that.
Yeah. Which twin was that? He built a lot of twins. Which twin was that?
It was his twin Pathfinder.
Oh, twin Pathfinder.
Profile. And that's convinced me I want to build one based on those numbers for the Hornet we talked about the other night. And going to use a lot of information from Bob Hunt, because that twin Pathfinder is like 640 square inches, just like his twin is. And use the Pathfinder number. And my airfoil, and Leroy Black wants to build one. I think he'll use a standard airfoil on it, and we'll see what happens. But that was one of the sweetest airplanes I think I've ever flown. You just pick up the handle and it just went where you wanted it. Great airplane, Gordy. Really is.
I have a question from Mike Lonke. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to talk to Al again before my internet connection crapped out on me there. Yeah, I was just about out of the roll I bought from Marvin Denny. I bought a roll from Marvin Denny like 10 years ago when he was selling all his stuff, and I got like 2 yards left. But on my last trip to Michigan, I went up and met Joe Kresnick and Joe Kresnick Jr. Okay. They flew a lot of do you know the Kresnicks? Do you remember them?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Okay, Grand Rapids guys that flew a lot of F2D back in the day. I guess they stopped flying around 2010 or somewhere in there. But I bought 42 F2D airplanes from them. And then I bought the 8 Cyclones that I showed you as well, the 15 Cyclones. But I got a roll of Fastcal, and it looks, it's the original stuff. Fat roll. I almost said the other one. Big fat roll. Doesn't look like there's been much off it. And so I'm set for a little while. You need some, Al?
No, not really. I mean, you know, if you could spare a little bit, I'll take some. But you know, just curious. I seen planes with it on, but I never, you know, used it. I always used the Cartier stuff.
Yeah, the SLC. So yeah. I like the Fastcal on foamies. Right. It's the quickest, easiest way to cover a foamy for sure. And I haven't covered many open bay combat planes with it all the way, but I use it for repairs a lot. You know, you cut a 6-inch strip, and when you get a split in the wing or something like that, you can do an open bay model, but it really takes 2 people. You got to have one person to hold the model and the other guy to lay the film down.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
Like
Mark.
Paper.
Just a quick thing. I need to get off, but I wanted to share something with you guys.
All right.
For those of you that know Dalton Hammett, I don't know if any of you guys know him.
Know the name.
Okay.
From the forum.
He's the guy who always comes to Brodeck. Wonderful guy. He lost his son this morning to cancer.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
What happened?
Son died of cancer after 9 years of battling it.
Oh, wow.
Sorry to hear that.
If you happen to know him, send him a note.
How old was his boy, Mark?
I don't know. He sent some notes to myself and Will, and to say that he couldn't go because his son was going into hospice. And this morning we heard from him that he passed away. So,
that's a really crappy club to be in. I'm in that club too. I lost a son to cancer as well. Yeah, that's a terrible club to be in. I feel bad for him.
So when you think you're having a bad day, you're probably not.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But guys, thanks for the time. I got to go, and those guys going to Brodeck, look forward to seeing you.
We'll see you there
next week.
Thanks
Mark.
for coming in, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Lenny?
Yes, sir.
I got us some Can-Am flags for our junkyard plane, buddy.
That's awesome. Where'd you get those?
I ordered them on Amazon today. They'll be here on Wednesday on Prime. I got a bunch of
amazing.
American flag stickers and a bunch of Canadian flag stickers.
We're in business. We're set to rock.
We're team Can-Am. I'm getting ready to cut the motor mounts right now for the engine and get the bladder set up because you're allowed to do that.
Whoa. How are you allowed to cut motor mounts?
You can bring a motor mounted. It's in the rule.
I didn't know that. I've always made the motor mounts out of the wood that's there.
No, it's been done. There's a precedent for it. There's a precedent for having your motor in a crutch already.
Well, now I know how people are building airplanes in 15 minutes, and it's taking me an hour.
You didn't get the memo. That's messed up.
I missed the memo. Here I am cutting motor mounts out of crate wood for Christ's sake.
I think I've seen videos of you doing that too.
Yeah, you're darn right.
Well,
there's a precedent
you can have mounted too.
I'm learning. Okay, cool.
Hey, I've got a question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
What'd you say? I missed what Al said.
I thought you can have the bell crank mounted too.
To a motor mount, if you wanted to do that, sure. That's been done before too. So you make your motor mount just long enough because you want to have hardwood motor mounts, right? I mean, it's just safer. It's safer if you got maple mounts and your bell crank goes into that maple mount. It's just, safety issue more than anything else.
Most definitely. I get it.
I have a question in from the chat box from Rick Wallace. This is to you, Al. He said, what finish did Al use on his stunner?
Well, the color is Dupa color in the can it's sprayed on.
Rattle can.
Well, no, it's not rattle can.
Oh, no, okay.
But it's the same Dupa color. It's the same paint. It's like a lacquer.
Okay.
And then there's a clear coat, 2-part Acme clear. So, which is, the same stuff that I auto clear. And
you got to remember, he works in a body shop. Do you work in it or own it?
He owns it.
Owns it.
That's what I thought.
He gets his stuff for free.
That's cool.
I don't get it for free.
He saves like he'll buy a quart to do a car and he'll save that much of it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he has his own quart.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, I got some friends that own a body shop in Virginia, and they were doing 59 Chevy that they were, no, it wasn't either. It was a 60 Chevy. 60 Chevy. Everybody thinks those look just alike. If you ever see them side by side, no, they don't. Anyway, he was doing a 60 Chevy and really doing this thing up to go in the car show. PPG came in, custom mixed the paint, gave him the paint for him to put on that car. It was they told me, I don't know if this is true or not. They told me it was $1,500 worth of paint. PPG donated it to him. But he did come up with one gorgeous car. Man.
I just did a 2018 Mustang GT, and it was the Ford Red. The paint code's RR. It's a 3-stage. It's sort of like a simulated candy apple red, sort of like a different color. $1,500 for 2 quarts of that red. Yeah. Wow. The pearl and the red.
Was that enough to do the whole car?
No, it's not. That just did 2 doors, a fender, and a hood. Half the car.
Well, Al, I did
it would take a half a gallon of both then to do the whole car, wouldn't it?
Right. And well, this was a convertible, but that doesn't include the reducers or the clear coat either, or the primer. Yeah.
We've got my wife has a red Mustang that's they call it race red. Okay. You can't even find it in the book. Well, it was a booger. We had to have a place patched where a car hit her car. And oh my word, that was a nightmare trying to get it matched up.
Is that standard red or a red metallic?
No, it's standard red, but it's called race red.
Okay.
It was a premium color. I don't know what that means, but they said it was a premium color. Maybe you understand. But anyway, it was a booger to get it matched up. But
let me say hi to Steve, but I have a question for John Miller. Your image is not showing, John. You've been probably here for over a half hour. I see your name, and
I didn't know he was there.
Yes, I'm wondering what's going on.
Got no
Big
voice
John,
either.
unmute.
It looks
John's
like he's
not
still
muted.
having problems with his computer.
Yeah, he's been having problems with his router.
See
I
his
talked to him on
name.
the phone the other day.
Hope he can hear us. Hi, John. Hope you're doing okay.
Hey, John.
Hey, Big John.
See, Al, did you see the paint job Naomi did on Len's airplane?
Yeah, don't. I already messed it up, so don't worry.
How'd you mess it up? Buffing it?
No, I'm having terrible trouble with the airplane. I still can't get it to run today. I filled the whole bottom of it with fuel. The pipe blew off the back end of it. No, it's just it's a bloody nightmare. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't got a
Is this the Bear?
Yeah. I'm just wrecking. I'm basically wrecking the airplane because I don't know what to do with all this crap. I don't know how to use any of it.
Well,
You know, like I blew the pipe out of the back of it today. The spinner was wobbling on it like it was totally offset. Oh, just what a mess.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one having problems.
Oh no, you're not. We're all there. But of course, I'm stressing out because we're only like a few days from leaving. Yeah, you know, I know how you're feeling. I know exactly. And I'm trying to get 25 things all done and ready all at once. And yeah, everything from
best.
I must have put those lights on that thing. I got all sunburned out in the sun. The Sunday it was pretty hot out here. Trying to get that thing going.
The best advice I ever got for getting ready for a contest is go out to the field and fly like it's just any other Saturday.
Well, I would if it would run.
The best advice I ever got at a contest was fly like you're flying the field on Saturday. It's just another day.
Oh yeah,
go out and put up a good flight. Go out and put up a good flight and really bear down. Fly like you're in front of judges, but tell yourself it's a Saturday in front of the guys. And one of the guys is ragging you about the maneuver, so you want to do it right so they can quit ragging you. Don't think about it being a contest. Don't think about it being judges. And you know,
I heard Charles sprained his finger today pushing the button on his timer.
Nice.
Was that again?
I said I heard you sprained your finger pushing the button on your timer.
You got it right. You got it on ice today, Charles?
No, I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, all these people having problems with their IC engines. I said, you sprained your finger pushing the button on your timer today.
No.
Hey, Lenny.
Yes.
I had a great day.
What, you got a contest report from Toronto?
Yes, it was pretty good. I judged. That's my contest report.
Oh, very good.
I had a good time. It was good.
You come up with all kinds of free stuff for good scores, huh?
Yeah, Naomi and I got all kinds of good stuff. You should see the money I brought home.
You didn't fly?
No, I didn't fly.
So, you get your clear coat all straightened out on your plane?
Yeah, the clear coat's okay. I mean, it's not perfect by any stretch, but it's manageable, and yeah, if I could just figure out how to set up a pipe and make it work, I'd be good to go.
Can you
still working on it? I got 3 days.
Lynn,
what
size motor is it?
Rojet 61.
What pipe is it?
I don't know.
Rojet 61?
I think it's a windy pipe. People are telling me it's a windy pipe. So what I did tonight is I finally dug through all the windy stuff on YouTube, and I found the tribute setup that he did for his last big airplane and how he did the pipe. And so now I'm running it exactly the same way with exactly the same stuff.
Did it not have zip tie? What was holding the pipe to the header? Did you have the little coupler and zip ties and all that?
Yeah, but the coupler wasn't. Here's the deal. The coupler was, the header wasn't scuffed up enough. The pipe wasn't scuffed at all. And I was using the wrong zip ties based on what Wendy said. So I scuffed the pipe now. I scuffed the scuffed the pipe, I scuffed the header, I used the proper zip ties and the proper coupler, which is that rusty red colored stuff that Windy
Yeah,
uses.
and just one more thing. You do have a zip tie at the back of the pipe, right?
Yeah, holding the pipe onto the pipe mount, yes. For sure.
Okay, all right. Yep, just asking.
I got all that part right. That's the only thing that kept the pipe from falling out of the airplane.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then
Well, you might want to scuff it there too, because that pipe must have slid in that back mount.
It didn't go much. It didn't go far.
Enough to blow it off.
Oh yeah, it blew back an inch anyway. Yeah.
Hey, Charles, I'm going to have to take off.
Okay, Keith, there's one last thing I wanted, Gordon wanted to say. He said, regarding to that twin you guys flew, he said, Keith, I won, and Whiteley was second, then Ray Firkins, Chris McMillan, and then Keith had to go look at our picture downstairs.
Yeah, that's about right. But he didn't fill the tank.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in, Keith. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Always good to see you, Keith. I'll try to put that address up again tomorrow. Send you a
Well,
PM
I'll
on
look for it.
Stunthangar.
I'll look for it.
Okay.
And
You
I
take
didn't get
care
a
of
chance to
yourself.
say hi to Howard. Howard, thanks for coming in, Howard. Appreciate it.
Hey,
Hey,
Howard.
Howard.
Hi.
All right.
What blend of fuel are you using, Len, in that Rojet 61?
10% nitro, 20% all synthetic.
Okay. Yeah, because I know they don't. Well,
No,
I
I don't
never
use
ran one,
caster.
but they say you don't run no caster. Yeah.
I don't run any caster in my road jets, never.
Okay.
And they run fine. I mean, all my road jets run good, but I just don't know this pipe setup. So I'm going to get it. You know what? It's a learning curve. I'm not discouraged. It's all good.
That's true.
I'll have it, and when I get it, it'll be fine. But it's a learning curve, and I just need to learn, you know.
What plug are you running, Len?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Could be anything. I don't know what plugs in there. It's a something.
Just curious, do you have an option to run it without the pipe? Just run a muffler?
Not unless I start cutting the airplane apart.
Okay.
Because see, I'd have to put different holes in the bottom of it for the muffler to exit.
Okay.
I mean, I could do that, but that's a last resort. If I can make a pipe work in it, I will.
I don't know. I guess I was just wondering, you're talking about vibrating spinners and everything like that. I guess I was just thinking, gee, maybe you need to start with one piece at a time and start adding pieces to it.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
run the damn, run the bare engine. And it
Well, let me tell you, I was running
it.
I was running the bare engine today as a 424 by the end of it because the pipe blew off, the header came loose. The engine was running just like my other engines. It was loud, but by God, at least I knew the sound.
So you got the right screws on that header?
Yeah, I got the 540s. Yeah, I got 540s in it. Everything came loose though today. The whole thing was loose.
No, they had those little header mufflers that you could put in the header too if you didn't want to run the pipe. Those little bitty thing, those little.
Yeah, but he needs.
Why are you laughing, Howard? Yeah, but I'd have to cut the whole bottom out of the airplane to make an exit hole for the muffler. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to get into that.
Now, why is Howard? What was Howard laughing about?
I'm laughing because how to run a Rojet 61 on a pipe is it's all figured out, and it's been published many times on.
Where? If somebody will tell me where it's published, I'll go there, but I can't find it.
Brett Buck.
Okay, I know Brett Buck, but I don't know where he's got it published.
Oh, yeah. Stunthangar.
Where? I can't find it.
If it's not there,
up tips.
But he's probably been over that many times.
Okay.
Hey, Atlanta, if nothing
I'll try
else,
to look for it again.
Yeah, look, if nothing else, just send Brett a quick PM, and he can probably point you to it too.
Did anyone have Dennis Nunez's phone number or anything?
I have it.
You can give it to Len. I mean, he just did that Rojet 61 setup.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's what he flew at the Nats last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know where he got it.
Yeah. But yeah, Brett helped him set it all up and everything. But he would know exactly
So he's
Oh, yeah,
selling
these
it.
guys are doing it all the time. They know how to do it. But I looked on Stunthangar and I see all this stuff from Randy and all this other stuff, but I can't find how the plumbing
Hey, there's
goes
John.
and stuff like that. I don't. Maybe it's just not in the detail that I needed. I don't know, but that's okay.
Look under, see if Dennis Nunez has a thread on his build on that. I can't think what he calls his airplanes.
Circulus.
Circulus.
Okay.
He did a Circulus with the 61 in it, Len.
Okay.
And
well, I think I read something for him where he was going to electric or something.
he did.
He's got that piece.
I read that article, and that didn't tell me anything though about how to set up the road jet.
Yeah, his one before that is the Rojet.
Okay. I'll keep looking. I'll find it. If it's there, I'll find it.
Yeah, if I had your phone, I'll bring another pipe along. Also, I'll bring one of oh shit, I can't even think of his name now. They're in Ohio.
Yeah, it sounds like Len's having mechanical issues as far as just how to get all the pieces flying in formation.
Yeah, like my issue is I don't know how to run the tubing. That's my main issues. Isn't how to run an engine. I need to know how the tubes are run. That's where my issue. So it comes down into
just run it like a regular muffler.
Yeah, run it like a normal setup, Len.
Okay.
Well, I
got about a 50% group that say run it with pipe pressure and a 50% group that say don't run it with pipe pressure.
Lynn.
So
Lynn,
you can't.
I tried early on.
Obviously, both guys have. Yeah.
I tried early on to get my 46 VF in a Windy Cardinal, full size Cardinal, to run on muffler pressure. And it was iffy at best, and it was on again, off again. It about drove me crazy. And I talked.
This is what I've got. The on again, off again. Like it'll go a half a circle. Or
run what you know how to set up.
I took the pressure
later
line
on.
Off.
You can add pressure.
I took the pressure line off the pipe.
Hang on.
I took the pressure line off the pipe and plugged it off at the pipe.
Yep.
I ran the tube out the side of the plane like I was used to, out into just open atmosphere,
the open air,
just out the side of the airplane.
Okay.
And I've never had an issue with it since.
Okay.
I haven't flown that plane in probably 2 years. I bet $100 I can take it to the field right now.
Then it would run just fine.
It'd run like a champ.
Okay. Well, I'll try that in the next couple of days, and hopefully I'll have it by the time.
Have you tried to run it on suction?
I haven't had a chance. I tried to run it again today on pipe pressure.
Take the pressure off. Pressure's a pain in the butt.
Okay.
It changes when you go into the wind. The pressure is different than this when you're going with the wind. And the plane's up and back, and you're trying to figure out why is it doing this? Because the pressure's changing.
Okay.
It's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Just put it on suction and let the thing, it's only going to suck what it needs. It's only going to draw what it needs. Because it's not going to pressurize the tank. It's only going to fill the void.
It still will though if it's on ram air pressure. The wind's different.
You don't get enough pressure to be pressurized. All you're doing is sucking enough air to fill the void that the used fuel left.
All right. Okay.
Because a vacuum in that tank, you have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
If you get ram air pressure, put a little piece of fuel tubing on there and get you a pellet out of a pellet gun. And that'll fit perfect in there and drill a little hole in it.
Well, I have a little pressure fitting with a smaller hole.
Use a little piece of tubing.
I do that on all my airplanes. Yeah.
Just use a little piece of tubing. That's not a problem.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I've got stuff to do that. I do that on all my regular airplanes.
Bring it with you to Broad. Bring something.
Oh, I'm bringing it. We'll play with it. We'll play with it.
We'll get it running. We ain't gonna play. We're gonna get it running.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Let me catch up with the chat box real quick. Rick Wallace, by the way, he donated a super chat of $20. Thank you very much, Rick Wallace. And he goes on to say, thanks. I'm using the same finish on a scale Cherokee 140. I saw several YouTube videos where they use duplicator color and 2K clear. How long did you let the color coat dry before clearing? Well,
So the red, the first, the base color red, that was dry for a week. And then I put the graphics on because you have, tape on it. So then I put the graphics on it. And then after that, that just dried for a day. And then I clear coated it. So I'll show you and that's can you see that? That's
make it big here. 1 second. Okay, we see it. Yeah, the Acme finish.
Yep, the Acme FC 740, and I used the medium hardener with it.
Okay.
You mean there really is an Acme paint company? I thought that was just on Roadrunner Comedy Hour.
Nope.
No, that's why the color is coyote red. So
There you go.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, that's cool.
And
this, and I used, in my shop. This is actually what I put on the cars. This stuff, it's Sherwin-Williams bought Acme. The clear their package, because Acme had great primers and good clear coat products, and so I use the Sherwin-Williams brand, on the cars. They're ultra finished, they're top tier paint, the color, and I used everybody's brand's clear, everybody's clear, and this stuff I've been using for the past 4 years, and it's the best. No matter at any price, this stuff is the best.
What's that?
Acme.
The 740.
Can you still buy that as Acme?
Yeah.
You can
buy it on Amazon. But
okay.
But it has to be the super, what's it called? The super brilliant.
Oh.
They sell it at Napa too, but it has to be the FC 740, and then you have to get the proper reducer hardener for it. That stuff. But yeah, just let me see. It's on. So what is this? This is $55 on Amazon for the two. Let me see how much. It's a quart. So it's $55 for the hardener and a quart of paint.
Well, that's a good price, because I forget what I bought a low price one at $78, and that.
That
was a good price.
This stuff holds up too. I've seen cars that I did 4 years ago, and it's great. And I had other cars. I tried other clears and stuff in the past, and the clear coat flew off the paint, or it's get all dried. The UV protection's no good in it, but this is good. And when you lay it, if you know how to spray it, you don't have to buff the car. It comes out really nice and shiny. Just a little denibbing, comes out for everything.
Al, when we get into the after party, I got a question for you.
Okay.
So, I know it's coming up here pretty soon. So.
Well, Al, Rick says, thanks, Al. I feel better about using that system.
Yeah, no, it's good. This, I could have buffed. I didn't buff it, but it came out really nice.
What's the name of that plane, by the way? I was curious. Is that your own design, or it's called what?
Mirage.
Mirage? Oh, is that the Lou
Half-A Mirage? Yep.
Is that the Lou Walgas design?
Yes.
That I don't know.
It is.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All I know, well, you guys, I was building it over or painting it over a lot on the live stream when I was building it. But
very nice.
Yeah, Jim and I both built it. Jim is he picked up what plane to build, and we both built them together. So
very nice. Yeah. Hey, John, just want to say hi to you, buddy. Thanks for coming in.
I wasn't sure you guys could see me.
We see you now.
We can see you now.
Well, it's good to be seen and not viewed,
Yes, welcome back.
You won't believe what I went through to get here, though. This is my old laptop.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I got a new modem. I could not get that modem to hook up to the other computer.
Oh, frustrating.
figured out what was going on. How many of you ever had the plug-in for the Ethernet go bad on a computer? And you know what I went through trying to find it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's not something you expect.
Didn't
Yeah.
suspect it at all. And
No fun having to hold the thing in place.
Yeah. So that computer now is no longer, I mean, I looked at it, tried to replace it. I'd have to almost replace the motherboard to do it.
You don't see the Wi-Fi signals coming in on it?
Nope.
Oh, no.
No. Anyway, so I've been all evening updating this whole laptop. It's been in mothballs for 2.5, 3 years. But while I was looking around, look what I found.
What'd you find? Make it big. Make it big. It's like a prop. It's like.
It is.
Oh, there it is.
Half a prop.
An 020 prop.
Start saying that's small. Yeah.
Yeah, 020.
That's an 020
020
prop.
prop. Gosh.
And looks like it's never been run or mounted. I didn't know I had one.
Hey, never been broken either.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, tell me something.
What's that?
You fellas, several of you fellas, including John, you've seen a lot of guys run ARFs. I've got an ARF Vector that I love to fly, but this thing is the loudest thing landing I have ever had. When the wheels touch, it's like the wheels sound resonates through that wing and just sounds like a box of rocks. Y'all had the same thing, or
Mine
I
doesn't
don't know what to
do
do. I don't know what to do to get rid of that, but it flies great.
Are the wheels bushed?
Yeah, they got. I mean, it's got nice wheels on, and they're foam.
Okay, but are they
They're the
bushed?
foam wheels,
Is there any gap, or did you bush them with brass tubing? If there's gap, that's how they sound.
They're nylon. It's got nylon in there.
Okay,
it's a metal wheel,
but they're snug, are they?
No, they're free as they can be. Let me see if I can get it over here. I don't think I got room, but I'll try.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is my picture gone now?
Your picture's gone now.
Gone, yeah.
And we're still live streaming, so no.
Yeah.
Yeah, behave yourself.
That thing
I don't.
let me make it big, Philip. Hang on a second.
Huh.
I mean, it's those.
Oh yeah,
nice
yeah.
wheels. I forgot what you call it.
Yeah, they are nice wheels.
Yeah.
But
gotta
when
be
that thing
Max
lands, it
wheels,
makes
aren't
more
they?
noise.
Yeah, they don't seem.
Yeah, that's what they are, Max products.
Yeah, they're the
You
good
might
ones.
have the wrong bushing in them.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm telling
There's
you
no
one thing,
flex.
that thing
There's
lands.
no flex, is there? Yeah.
I just got the stock wheels on mine.
I don't know. Maybe that's what I should have done.
Is there any jiggle or not? When you diggle them, is there any jiggle?
There's a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, it sounds like it's coming from your wheels. Yeah.
Is it? Are you running right on the screw threads on the?
It's got a collar through it. It's metal.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sleeve.
Okay.
Huh.
No, I
Go
never
figure.
run on the threads. That's the sure way to eat my line up. But that is the doggonest thing I have ever seen. That I landed it today the first time. It came in for such a landing, and they said, the first landing, I landed right in front of everybody, and it touched down so easy. You just heard the wheels start turning. It was the only way you knew it was actually on the ground. But a second later, when the weight of the plane's on it, it resonates up through the thing so bad that.
Wow.
I'm curious. Did you grease the wheels?
I did, but I think I'm gonna have to re-grease them again. That was the next thing I was gonna say. I'm gonna take this thing apart and re-grease them.
It comes with the bushings.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you don't have the metric bushing in on, or you got the American in on the metric wire. It's too loose and it'll make noise. They make one.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe
They
that's what
make
it is.
Huh?
I'll take it apart and check it.
Which wheels are you running through?
The Maxwells, like the ones I gave you, the aluminum ones.
ones.
Yeah, I just put those on the Caravel tonight, Steve.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. That's
that
the
whole
loudest.
bushing kit, you got to get the right bushing for the right, because it comes with all in different size bushings.
Right.
Well,
So
one set of bushings was so big the wheel just wobbled.
Yeah, you don't want that.
And then these move a little bit, but not much.
Right, that's what I did.
Get a micro grease gun out and try that.
One set I couldn't get on, and then the next size up was just a little. Yeah. It wasn't like a nice fit, but a little wobble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't perfect.
Yeah. I may have taken the one that was tight and ran a number drill through it and made it so it was a perfect fit.
That's the secret. That's the secret.
Yeah.
So what you want to do, Phil? I didn't hear what was your max wheel doing. I was over there drilling. I didn't hear what.
I come in for landing. It comes in. This thing lands so easy that you know it's on the ground when you hear the wheels start spinning. But just a second later, the resonance. It sounds like it's resonating up through the wing, and it's just wow, just loud.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's a while.
Try this, Phil. Get yourself an old inner tube. Cut yourself a piece of rubber to fit up against the fuselage, between the fuselage and the gear, and another piece on top, and then put a washer on it so it's compressed between that rubber. That may help.
I'll give it a try, John. I thought about that earlier tonight. I'm going to try that for sure. And I believe I'll try the grease too. And then if I don't get it, I'll do Steve's idea. Put the small Steve's in there and put. Hey, I'll try whatever it is. This plane flies so good. I hate for it to sound like homemade pooey when it lands.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, what I was going to say to John was, I don't know, it's the plug-in type, like you plug in your speakers or whatever. I can't. Not DMI. I don't know what the
HDMI is what you're saying.
HDMI.
Is it It's like an HDMI.
Yeah.
No, it's called an H11. It's a network plug.
What I'm saying is that if I could show you, it's that end right there, whatever that is.
No, it's like a telephone plug.
Do you have that plug on your old USB? On your old computer, do you got a place to plug one of them in?
Nope.
No, he needs an Ethernet cable, man. It's
RJ45. Listen. I had one, my Ethernet cable went out. If you have this plug on your computer, you can buy this little thing to plug in that goes to Wi-Fi, and it uses that instead of the Ethernet.
I don't believe you.
Instead of throwing away the computer.
Well, I'm not going to throw it away. I've got other uses for it. I just won't be able to use it for internet unless I go in, and I may just buy another motherboard for it.
Yeah, take a look at what Al's got there.
That's an Ethernet cable.
Yeah,
I know what that is, but I had one go out on the motherboard. So Samantha got me that little Wi-Fi deal. You plug it in, hooks to your Wi-Fi if you have Wi-Fi in the house, and it works.
Yeah, you can.
Sure it does.
So
you can substitute it. Yeah, I've heard that.
You can substitute it. Is all I'm saying, and they're like $10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pick it up at Wally World.
We still streaming, Charles?
You got those for computers that didn't have Wi-Fi card in them. I actually have one downstairs.
Yeah, I mean it's a real simple fix because that was like my old one went out. I didn't throw it away, and now I got it hooked to my TV. Mm-hmm. And Samantha put that little deal in the back of it, and it gets Wi-Fi, and I can play movies. Use it for streaming and stuff like that. Yeah, and I wasn't going to because the computer was so old, I wasn't going to put the money into a new motherboard and everything.
Well, this one isn't that old, but what it was is I bought it on sale. It was refurbished, so it had been bought new. Something didn't work, and they sent it back, and they fixed it up, and they put it up on sale for ridiculously low price. So I bought it.
Probably the Ethernet went bad, and they fixed it.
Probably, probably. But hey, I got 2 years of use out of it, And
it's just an idea, so you could get in here.
Yeah. Well, I've got I've got several choices I'm looking at. I now know that I can get in with this. I retired the laptop just because I had too many computers, but it's been 2 years it's been sitting, and so I had a lot of updating and other things to go. So at the worst, I can use the laptop here. At the best, I'll get something and get that thing fixed. But now the pressure's not on me to try to get back on. That was driving me nuts. I was 3 weeks.
We was missing you.
Yeah.
Hey, let me interrupt. I want to get the last chats and then end the stream. John Lytle says, Lynn, Brett has run a Rojet 61 forever. He has the exact numbers. So that's yeah, I was thinking go with Brett Williams too.
You can give Len his number.
And then
it's all good.
And then Rick Wallace, this is the last one. Rick Wallace says, just ordered the clear. Thanks, Al. All right, with that being said, I'm going to end the live stream so we can go into the after party. We're not leaving, we're just ending the live stream. If you are a registered member of Stunthangar Forum, you can come into where we're at, the after party, going into At the Bench, and then we'll see the link with today's date, and then you'll be right in here. But other than that, I'm going to wish everyone a nice evening and good week. Come back Friday. Hopefully you have a chance to go do some flying or building, be in your shop, some things. And we'll see you back here Friday.
Take it easy, veteran.
Okay, Al, the question I got